Hey guys, welcome back to the Unplugged Health series here. I'm with Roger once again, and first off I want to say a big thanks to Rachel for coming in last week for her. The guest did really well, some real good topics covered
and
there.
some good feedback from that, and you know, as I said, thanks to Rach for stepping in. I think it's something which we'll look to do in the future. It's good having a guest.
It's good to get some different people on board. If you guys have got any information which you'd like to share, feel free to just get in touch, and it may be something which we'd be happy to talk about with you on the podcast. But tomorrow, because this is going out on Christmas Eve, tomorrow is the big day with Santa coming down the chimney. Don't know how he still gets down the chimneys these days. Most houses haven't got one or something, but he's coming down the chimney, leaving the presents, getting those mince pies, getting the whiskey, the brandy, and no doubt there has been some confusion over how to stay healthy at this time of year. You've had a lot of parties potentially, works dues, family dues, and we want to clear some of the confusion up and tell you our advice and what we're going to be doing over Christmas. Roger, what are you going to be doing?
Well, I think like most people, it's quite hard to not get pulled into the, you know, Christmas. There's all the nice food comes out, all the nice teas. I think through the years, what I've tried to do is the lead up. I look at the Christmas as more of the festive season rather than actually Christmas. I love Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day.
Yeah.
I think the trap is that it's the Christmas excess or the festive season excess. So I don't actually think that Christmas Day and Boxing Day and that is too big a deal. I think most people are, let's face it, are going to have excess. But I think overall your health is not going to be determined by 2 or 3 days. It's potentially going to be influenced more by the 3 or 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. So what's the lead up to Christmas being like? What's Christmas week like? And then into the new year. And how long does the excess go into the new year? Yes. So my focus really isn't with my family. I think Christmas Day is great. We will have some nice food. We'll have some luxuries. And we'll enjoy it. And we'll enjoy it guilt-free. So that's my main focus, is trying to keep the build-up. Yep. And then enjoy Christmas for what it is. And for me, it's family time. Enjoy some luxuries and that, but also use the opportunity to go out for a walk, keep a bit of a reality check, but enjoy it as well. And then try and not let the festive season linger too far into the new year. And then so it's keeping Christmas into perspective and then enjoying what it is.
I think there's 2 ways I look about it. The first off is that it isn't what you eat between Christmas and New Year that does the damage, so to speak. Yeah. It's what you eat between New Year and Christmas. And I'm that big believer of the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time you are on point with things, and 20% you can chill, enjoy life, and not have any guilt behind it. And that 20% is more than Christmas.
No, and I think if you sit down to your Christmas meal, you want to sit down and go, oh, this looks lovely, let's enjoy it together. I think food is also about the company and the festivities and enjoying it together as a family rather than the focus on the food. So I don't think that we need to have too much guilt into Christmas itself. But I know that physiologically the body's going to change over 4 or 5 weeks. Or have we then set up a pattern which then drags in, and then I think significantly then feeds into that knee-jerk reaction is, do I need to do a fad quick diet or something in the new year to put ourselves back on track, which kind of potentially puts stress on people to go too far the opposite way. Yeah. As opposed to using it over Christmas time of also some time out and a reality check of where am I, what do I want to do? Because health is not only about what's on the plate in front for 2-3 days, it's about, how much exercise, what stresses are going on in my life. So it's a real good time for looking at the holistic health aspect rather than just on Christmas Day.
Yeah, and psychologically, first thing that people think of is the end of the year, so they think it's the end. But January is just another month. Next year is just another month, another week, another day as time goes on. And nothing is going to drastically change overnight when that clock strikes 12.
You covered this on one of your online on your Facebook.
On one of my Facebook lives
recently, and that was brilliant. I love that message because we do tend to think of, and it's that classic, isn't? Well, in the new year, and it's like it's the end of the day, end of the month, end of the week. It's all the same. Just because it's a change of calendar year, we tend to fall into the trap of it's now we've got to do something different. Yeah. We can do it in any time.
And people as well. I spoke about on another live, this is a while back, not specifically for Christmas, but people do it the majority of the time at Christmas, and that is fail minutely. And I used to be the worst for this, is that you would start off with good intentions. So you would start off on a Monday, and by Wednesday you would have a work lunch out or an evening out, it would be date night, and you would not be able to stick to a specific diet at that point.
Yeah.
And then you would think, okay, screw it. I fell off here, so I'll fall off the next day, and the next day, and I'll start again Monday. Before you know it, unless you fall off on a Sunday night, when Monday is the next day, you're going to have more time off than on. And that mentality does seem to spill over majorly at Christmas, that there's 2 work nights out. There's a family get-together on the Saturday night, and then there's Christmas Eve. Now, there are still going to be days where you don't have anything, where you could actually eat pretty healthy. You could get foundations in of moving, go and do your exercise and everything like that, as you said, but noticing that it doesn't have to be an all or nothing. You can have kind of 50-50 over this time, and the mentality, one of the big things I've said with a couple of clients is that setting the expectations, is that if you've had weight loss as your goal throughout the year, this time is pretty stressful. If you've got a family and you're stressing out about buying the food, cooking the food, getting the presents right, have you got this card and that present wrapped up, and have you missed someone out? Adding extra stress of thinking you have to lose weight is, well, it's really stressful. Now, we can use December as a month to say, I'm just going to maintain. I might put on a couple of pounds, I might stay the same.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, I don't want to put on 20 pounds, because that has to
it's managing expectations, and as I say, not turning a few days or a bit of excess into a major thing. We're trying to pay back time.
Yeah.
But I think a Christmas meal doesn't have to necessarily be a hugely unhealthy meal. No. I mean, it's a big roast at the end of the day, so it should be full of veg. It should be things. There's a lot of nasties. There's a little bit more dessert, and if you put into perspective of how the dynamics of the body, it'll cope with that fine. But if you're still doing it in 3 or 4 weeks down the line, you're gonna pay for it.
What people say about the turkey, so turkey's just going to be protein. It's going to be lean protein essentially when you have that turkey meat, and it's the leftovers that we said about. It's those extra cakes, those extra trifles, and all those desserts and all those sweet things, which are really nice.
Yeah.
But we're in a country where we don't want to waste things, and as I've said to you a couple of times today, we had the treatment today, that when people look at this mentality, I don't want to waste it, so I'm going to eat it, they then have to burn it off.
Yeah.
So you could waste it in the bin, or you could waste it around your body and make your waistline grow.
Or if you don't want to waste it and throw it away, you can always have it for cold meats the next day. You
Not
can
necessarily
spread
that,
it
I'm
over
talking
a couple
about the sweet treats and stuff.
No, the extra, and that's the danger, isn't it? Because there's always that temptation of another portion of the dessert. That lovely mixture of fat and sugar together is a potent mix.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why ice cream is one of the best ones to put weight on, is eat ice cream, because it's a perfect 50-50 of sugar and fat. So it's all those nasties. That's what I mean. The actual Christmas meal, the roast, actually isn't the biggie.
No,
there's a few luxuries and a little bit of an extra, rich gravy and that. But it's all the nasties, the quick little snacky chocolates and the biscuits, and all those ones are the biggie. Those are the ones which feed into the cravings and the sugar highs and lows and all sorts.
And going back for more.
But going back for more, and it's a treat. But then also there can be that element of, we can go out for a walk. A lot of people do have that tradition of going for a walk before Christmas meal. Or I'm more interested also in what people are doing in between the Christmas and the New Year. Mm-hmm. Because, as I said, I don't think the big thing is Christmas Day, or even perhaps Boxing Day. It's the gap between the New and then the New Year's party. What are people doing? Some people can still go to the gym. They can go for a walk. They can eat the leftovers, and can end up being some good protein salad, and almost giving the body and the liver and everything a bit of a breather, and so it can recuperate. But then there's no reason why we can't go out for a walk. And also remember, a lot of people, this will go out around different parts of the country, as well as different parts of the world. So Southern Hemisphere, it's summertime. So that it's even easier. They are out in that, but I love of it. We will go out. We'll take our dog. We'll go for a walk. We'll get outside, to move, to get some fresh air and that. But also, you've built up quite a few calories. You can burn some off.
And also, I'll say this not because I'm got a fitness product which is launching today, which is aimed at women, but also some of the best results I've had with people are not the ones that have actually committed in New Year. It's committing the day after Boxing Day, essentially, or the guys in America, because they don't really have a Boxing Day, they commit on the 26th of December, or they've signed up on Christmas Eve. And the reason being is that they can ease themselves into the program.
Yeah.
They haven't got to go from 100% of this to 100% of that. It's gradually. Using that last week is actually a bonus to say, look, I'm going to start some exercise. I'm going to start getting some healthy food in here, which is going to be getting your fruit and veg in, getting your fibre in and all that sort of stuff. And I'm going to get my lean protein in, and maybe I'll cut some of the sugar down. And then when it comes to New Year, it's kind of like, there's this buffer week.
Yeah.
And then they go all in then.
So I do I have stored on my notepad, on my iPad, what I call a PLP. It's my personal life plan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an ongoing thing I go through, and I break things up in life of physical, emotional, and chemical, some focuses and that. And so I also like to use this time of year, because I take some extra time off between Christmas and New Year, some time at home, and we have more time available. So I try not to do any work. I like to have time with my family, but I also get a little bit more personal time. So I go and just update that.
Yep.
And just reinforce some of the things, because the beauty also sometimes with excess, if you listen to the body goes, we've had quite a bit of rich food, I really don't want any more. So it's getting back into connecting with your body. And I also start looking at life in a bigger picture, because it just gives me that time, so that when I come into the new year, I'm not bombarded with, I've got to do the latest fad. I've got a little game plan, and I just reconnect with what my focus is, or my purpose. I have a statement which is really a personal statement, which governs of how I like to see my life and what I want out of my life. So I think this time of year also gives an opportunity of time for people to reflect and personally reconnect with what's important to them. Whether is a weight loss, whether it's fitness, whether it's mindfulness, whether it's just, I want to change my career, or whether I want to reinforce my relationships at home or with a relative far away, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But I think this time of year, that gap between Christmas and New Year gives most people that option.
Oh yeah.
To reconnect. And it's not then saying, right, I've got to go and buy the latest DVD for fitness or this and that. It's just reconnecting with who you are. So apart from the food and excess, I think it does also give us the chance to take time out and reflect.
Yeah.
So that we come into the new year with reconnected with who we are. And that might mean that we don't change anything, but at least we've gone through a process of reconnecting with it.
I think a lot of people, when we talk about recollection and reflection, we have to evaluate what happened last year and this year, essentially what happened at the start of this year, because a lot of people will have a health goal every time when it comes to people that do set resolutions. Yeah. But it's evaluating why it didn't work.
Well,
we spoke about New Year's
not even necessarily why it didn't work, but what we've learned from it.
Yeah.
Because it's a journey. It's no one's getting it right every year. Life throws us curveballs. So what are we grateful for? It's just that reconnecting. And then where do we move forwards with re-energized focus? And that doesn't have to mean that we have to change anything drastically. It could just say, I'm doing a good job. These are the things I can fine tune. No one's perfect. No one's got it right. And so it doesn't have to be dramatic. So it doesn't have to then lead into a dramatic diet or dramatic fad, or that kind of like, right, 2nd of January, 1st of January, right, now this is, I'm on the cabbage diet, or I'm doing this. I've suddenly spent thousands of pounds redoing the garage into a gym. Mm-hmm. And then 3 months later, it's what are you going to be doing in 3 or 4 months? So I think it's just reflection.
I think as well, and I've got a big part on this, I'm doing a talk at the end of January, and it's talking about goal setting. We need to know why we're doing something. And when it comes to weight loss, nobody wants to lose weight. There is always an underlying reason why weight loss is the goal. And it might be to boost confidence, to improve your sex life and your relationship with your partner. It could be that you've got a job that you want to get and you feel that you're going to have more confidence in a different dress size or a smaller waist size trousers to go for that job, for the interview. You're going to have more energy and you have a different goal to fulfill.
Or the other aspect of why is, why haven't you got that? Mm-hmm. So sometimes a lovely phrase I came across them is, the issues sometimes are in the tissues. Mm-hmm. So what's the underlying crux that isn't allowing you to achieve what you want? So a lot of people say, I want to lose weight loss. So there's loads of programs. They sell you a formula. Over 4 or 5 weeks, you will lose weight. great. If it was that simple, most people wouldn't be, because no one really wants to carry excess weight.
No.
But what's the issues? Where's the issue in your life? And then so it's looking at the why. What's out of balance, and then going from there. So it's what drives the behavior. And so
a lot of it's going to be emotional as well.
Emotional, it can be circumstance. Sometimes it can just be, stress. Stress is a huge one. It's changed my physiology, and sometimes you've got to put your hand up and say, at the moment there's so much stress, I need to focus and manage that. And by suddenly focusing and managing that, a lot of the health issues or weight issues either will change or be put on hold. And then once that is more settled, or I've changed my career, suddenly it's easier to exercise. I've got more energy, and all the other things fall into place. So I think sometimes with weight, I think most people the classic is, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to lose weight, and I don't think necessarily the smoking or the weight is the issue. It's what's the underlying driving behaviour.
Yeah, and again, talking about what I was putting out on Facebook Live, the smoking and drinking, I think I might have touched on this the last time we recorded, but a lot of times, if a client comes to me and they're smoking and they're drinking a bit of alcohol, or quite a bit of alcohol, I won't cut that out straight away, because we want to find out. And one of the big things I deal with is mindset, as well as the health side of things, but the mental health side of things, and finding out why we're doing things. And if I say to a client, you're not allowed to drink, you're not allowed to smoke, are they going to get results? No, chances are they'll go to binge eating.
You're just taking away their crux.
Exactly. So let's get the foundation sorted, and then let's start to cut down the smoking, then let's start to cut down the drinking. One of the most successful results I had with a client who's successful in the music industry, really high level job and stressed as well, he would have a cigar every single night because that was his relaxation time. And we didn't take that out. He lost 40 pounds and felt the best he'd ever felt. Yeah. And he said as well that his blood test came back and they were so much better. His testosterone has increased over 50, which is very rare to see, purely because he had actually been so stressed his testosterone had lowered, would reduce that physical stress, that physiological stress, his testosterone had increased. And that was all while still, he'd have a drink every now and then.
Yeah.
And while still traveling for American Idol, so his sleep was lowered, and still smoking.
Yeah, and I think it's
that's not to say that
looking at the symptom. No, it's never the message, but it's also of what's the symptom, and actually what's the cause. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times excess weight is the symptom, unless there's a medical reason. But then again, there's still a cause. Mm-hmm. So the true success of that in the new year is, if someone's focus is weight loss, is really what is the cause. Because I think most people know what to eat. They know generally that a cream bun is not on generally the hit list of ideal to lose weight, but it confuses people. Then, well, you could have a cream bun because it depends on what the whole picture like. And I just think this time of year affords people the luxury of a little bit more time for reflection, so that they can go into the new year with renewed confidence, focus. Or they can just reassess, I'm actually on the track already. I don't need to change a huge amount because I'm already doing a good job. Mm-hmm. I made some mistakes, but I've learned, and I don't need to do anything drastic. The worst one is that knee-jerk reaction of suddenly I'm doing something drastic, and it really throws people off.
Yeah.
What you're doing is manageable? Is it in 3 or 4 months' time, 6 months' time? Is this something which is going to become habitual?
Yeah, and this is the busiest period coming up for gyms, but in February, March, there's this ongoing joke in the fitness industry, and it's not a joke at the people, it's just the saying that it gets busy and then Valentine's Day it stops. Yeah. Because it is people doing this and then suddenly they realise that it's not sustainable. If it's hard for your schedule to go to the gym 5 times a week, start with twice, start with 3 times, do a couple of home workouts and build up to it.
And I'd encourage people at this opportunity to go back to some of our past podcasts.
Yeah.
Because we've already covered things a bit like the exercise. We've already covered things of, what the heck do I eat? The confusion in that. So this is a great time to go back and listen to a few, because then in the new year, we're going to approach some more specific things, goals, how to mindset and setting goals. Yeah. We're going to debunk a bit of the fad diet, because that's going to come up. Society does it every year. The celebs bring out their number one exercise DVD because they know it's going to sell. So we're going to ride that wave. We're going to come up with some things, and then we want a big one is we want to go into sleep, and we want to go into some more specific things going into through the year. So some really good, exciting things to come up. But I think it's in that, under that banner of reflection, go back to the past podcasts. You know, some of the things we're touching on now, we've gone into a little bit more detail.
Mm-hmm.
So use this time to reflect what's worked. It's a journey. Enjoy that journey. We're all learning by our mistakes, and we all reinforce what works. So I think it's a great time of year for that. And you know, enjoy Christmas. Enjoy the time off. Enjoy time with your family. And if it means that you have a little bit more of some niceties, enjoy them guilt-free. I think at the end of the day, your overall health and your well-being is not going to be reflected by an extra portion of this over 1 or 2 days. But if it's still mid-January and we're still on the chocolate log, then we're in trouble.
Exactly. On that note, before we round up here, I'm going to give my biggest tip as well. But what would your biggest tip to be successful with your goals, whether that's health, whether it's mindset, anything like that side of things, with your goals going into 2019?
Successful in your goals, I think. Be realistic of what your goals are and how you want to achieve them, and most importantly, look at why you want to achieve those, and anchor into what is the benefit of me committing to this, rather than just, I'm going to lose weight. What does that mean? You know, is it going to mean that you can play with your kids better? Is it going to mean that you're going to be more successful in your career? Away from the scale, away from the weight loss element of what is it that I'm trying to get? What do I want to benefit
look like and feel like when you get there? That sort of thing.
Yeah, what am I going to feel like on that? What's that anchor? You know, so that anchor is when things are a little bit tougher. You know, it's like, this is why I'm doing this, not from just the going, I've knocked off a kg. I think more concrete stuff for this. You know, is it that at the moment I can't play with my grandkids? Is it that I want to achieve a goal that I want to, you know, run a half marathon or a marathon? What is the thing that I'm working towards that's going to benefit me, away from a scale or anything? So be realistic with your goals and find what your anchor is and the big why. Why am I doing it? For some people, it'll just be that I'm not in a great place with health, and I want to hang around and I want to be there. You know, I want to have a better quality of life. What's that anchor? Because I think if you don't have that anchor, when temptations comes, it's everything's there to pull you away from it.
Definitely. The one that I was going to say is accountability, and that seems obvious. Me being a health coach, but it's not necessarily going to be coaching. It could be reaching out to me or reaching out to you or someone in order to get your accountability on track where you're invested in a program. Because a lot of people say people that don't pay attention. But accountability comes in so many different forms, whether that's a training partner, whether that's telling someone that put this picture up on social media in 10 weeks if I haven't made a difference, or doing a reverse bet to some form of charity
I love
you don't
that one.
like or something like that.
Yeah, and with that, with accountability, it's kind of almost goes hand in hand with support. I think to sit down and say to you know, whether it's your significant other or a friend or so, going, I'm going to do this. I'd really like your support in that to you know, keep me accountable. Ask me how I'm going, or every month ask me this, check in with me, so I know that that's coming. So that accountability. So it's accountability and support comes with it.
Yeah.
But I like that idea with the one guy within the chiropractic community in Spain. He did it that he was going to donate to a political movement which was very, very much totally against and opposite to his fundamental principles. And so he was with great glee reached his goals, health goals of weight, as well as also some clinical measurements and tests. And he was so relieved and chuffed because he was at all costs not going to commit. And we're talking about a sizable amount of money. So he was over the moon, not only to get his goals, but he was so relieved.
That's great, yeah.
So it's a big motivator. I like that.
It's a massive one. Cool.
So enjoy Christmas. You know, have some great time, I think, with family and friends.
Without feeling guilty.
Without guilt. There's more to Christmas, I think, than just loads of food and sweets and treats. have some rest, recharge, enjoy time with family and friends, and we look forward to connecting in the new year and moving forwards together professionally as well as health-wise into the new year.
So, and before we actually go, it's only just recently started on the podcast, but thank you guys so much for actually watching, listening, and giving us the feedback that you guys have given us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, all the best, and look forward to the new year, and enjoy your time. Till then, bye-bye.